Welcome to Holly Tree Manor. If you've not been here before, I'm KC. It's been a long, cold winter, and I burned a lot of firewood. The good news is that I have enough left in the wood yard for next winter. That doesn't mean that the cousin and I are going to be taking any time off from the wood yard. We have a lot more to split, and we both think it's better to go ahead, get a split, and stay ahead while we have decent weather to be out there doing the work. There really isn't much worse than being out there in the biting cold, splitting firewood because you let the season get away from you. We both think it's better to work ahead, keep a stockpile, and just be able to relax when it's time to start burning the firewood. So we'll do a little bit every week, and we'll keep ahead. One project that I'm right in the middle of is removing the old pool pad. Now, part one of that job is already posted, and I'll put a link in down below if you want to go see that. The pool pad is something that my late husband and I installed. We decided that we wanted to have a little pool that we could put up every year, and then when I got home from work, we'd be able to go out there and get in the pool and relax a little bit, talk about the day, decide what we were going to fix for dinner, all that sort of stuff that you do when you get home from work. And he was already retired, so he would send me a text and say, I'm in the pool, come straight home. So that's what I would do. I'd come home and we'd get in the pool. Well, now that I'm here living alone, I've decided that it might not be a good idea for me to be out there in the pool by myself. I live very rural. I'm far back away from the road. My nearest neighbors, while they might be able to see my house, they can't see me. They can't see what I'm doing. So it's just not a good idea for me to be hanging out in the pool by myself. So I'm getting rid of the pool pad. I'll reclaim the blocks, reclaim the sand. The wooden frame is quite a loss, so that'll be going on the burn pile. But part two of that project will be coming up soon. I'll be working on that as soon as it warms up enough for me to be out there. Now, the little blocks that were all around the pool pad, I am repurposing them. There's about 100 of them. And so far, I've already put some over in the garden to set my grow buckets up on. And I decided the rest of them can go back in the corner where I have a little sitting area for myself. I like to go out there in the mornings while the garden is growing, have a cup of coffee, or go out there in the evenings and, have a glass of something, iced tea or whatever I want. But I'm going to put those blocks back there in the corner, and I'm going to put them in such a way that it's, stagger them up so that I can set the flower pots on them. And I think that'll be aesthetically, I think that's the word I want, aesthetically pleasing for when I'm sitting there just relaxing, or if somebody, visits and we're sitting out there just enjoying being in the garden and having growing things around us. The old deer barriers need to be taken apart. Now, they were made out of 2x4s and 1x4s, and they're screwed together, so I need to just take all the screws out. And I'm going to save the lumber in case I have another project that would work for that. I don't need those old deer barriers anymore because another recent project was upgrading the fencing around the garden area to a metal fence. And that video is also posted, I'll put that link below. Another upcoming project is putting the shade cloth over the sunroom porch. Now that's a really simple solution to a really hot problem. The sunroom porch gets a lot of afternoon sun and the sunroom heats up. And my computer is back there, so it gets a little toasty if I want to go back there and work. So I have put up a simple frame, drape a 70% shade cloth over it, and you'd be amazed at how well that cuts down on the heat. But I can't do that project just yet because it is only mid-March. It's still a little windy, and it's just not time yet. But when I get to that, I'll take you along on that one too, so stay tuned. Another upcoming project is cleaning the patio concrete. No, that's pretty simple. I could power wash it, or I could just soap, water, a little bleach, swish it all around and rinse it off. Just clean it for the season so I can put my area rugs back down. Now, I like to have the area rugs out there because my cat is allowed to go out onto the patio. The patio is screened in. He goes out there and he's got a little spot that he likes. And I'm sure he would appreciate having his rug put back down so he has that barrier between him and the cold concrete. So we're coming up on gardening season, and I have seeds started. I have cabbage, tomatoes, cucumbers. I have some. I'm going more for some herbs this year. I have stevia. There's rosemary, lemon balm, just a wide variety of stuff, and I'll get into that later. But anyway, the seeds are started, and I have them back in the sunroom on shelves, just waiting for everything to sprout. Now some things have sprouted. The butter crunch lettuce, I really got a good germination on that one. So it's I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of anxious. I can't really plant anything out until around the 1st of May. Um, keep an eye on the 30-day forecast and just see. I could probably set my cabbage out early, but there's more on the gardening coming up in future videos. So, stay tuned. Another thing that has to happen is I have to make another pass through the yard to pick up sticks. That is a season-long job. And I do that because I don't want to just run the mower over top of a stick and have the blades pick up something that's big enough to knock the belt off the pulley, or even get stuck and bend the pulley. Those repairs are too expensive, and I like to do whatever I can do to avoid that. And speaking of the mowers, I need to call the mobile technician who actually comes to your house to service your mowers. I need to get the John Deere X370 serviced, oil change, spark plug, air filter, sharpen the blades, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not affiliated with John Deere, not at all. I want YouTube to know that right up front. I paid for that mower. It was expensive, but well worth it. And I need to keep it serviced because I want to keep it running good. But this guy comes here to the house, does all that. It's well worth the money because hauling a piece of equipment into John Deere to have it serviced. My cousin has a trailer, but it's easier to have the guy come here and do it right here, and then we can just move along. It might seem like all of this is a lot for one person to handle, but it's really not. I pick one or two things a day that needs to be done so I'm not overwhelmed with the idea that it all has to be done today, because it doesn't. Break it into smaller parts and just, get it done. I know that I have to pace myself both physically and mentally. if I want to get it all done, and to keep from being overwhelmed by any of it. And I know that as I'm doing each project, something new is going to pop up that needs to be done. And I just work that into my schedule. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have to step back and prioritize, and you have to adjust. That way, you can keep from stressing over the whole big picture and feeling like, well, I'm never going to get all this done. I might as well just sit here in my chair and do nothing. And that's not me. I cannot really do that. So by planning what I'm going to do each day and breaking it down into smaller chunks of what needs to happen, this still leaves me time to be with family and friends and to do all the things that I really enjoy doing, like going out and simply sitting in my garden with all the growing things around me. You have to take care of yourself too. So that's kind of it for the March update. Since I couldn't get outside today, it seemed like it was a really good time to sit down and do it. So I thank you for visiting Holly Tree Manor today. Like I say, I'll have video links down below to some of the projects I mentioned that are already done. And if you want to see how I finish up the pool pad and some of the other garden projects and things, just subscribe. Keep checking back. Um, I don't post a video every day, but I'm trying to do every couple days. So, check back. If you would, please like, subscribe, and share the videos to help Holly Tree Manor grow. And as always, stay safe and look for joy in everything you do. Thank you from Holly Tree Manor.